Oh wow. We have.
Where are you?
Wait. We'll get there. Hang on. We've got
Where are
Laura
you?
Rose Main entered the waiting room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we just send it or?
I think we should send it. Do you think I should change my backdrop, or is this just the most embarrassing interview that's ever happened?
What is that room there? Is that
I can
like
bring
is that
I
like
can bring the guest in, and then we'll go from there.
is that you oh, the dungeon.
This is a very professional
Hello.
operation we have
Oh,
here.
here we go. Hello there, Laura. Can't see your beautiful face. Can't hear you either.
We have read.ai in here as usual, but we can't
Yeah,
get
as
rid
usual.
of.
Yes.
They
Yep,
just turn
yep.
up.
Yep. Have you got a beer
Can't do
while
anything
waiting?
about that. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
That's
Howdy.
not Laura.
That doesn't look like a Laura.
How you doing? Sorry, wrong
Hey,
name.
what's going on?
Good. How you guys?
I'm really glad that we're not competing on backgrounds here, because you've got the classic like rock star look and the guitar in the background, and I'm literally
his own
living
reflection.
in the basement from Parasite.
That's good. Yeah, I like it. This nice mix.
This is just a visual of what happens when your brewery doesn't work out. So no pressure.
We probably should explain, Dan, who we got with us for those who are doing audio only.
That's a good point, Hendo. You're good at introductions. Introduce Laura.
Well, this is Laura Rosemain.
Oh no.
Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, where you're from, and we'll get cracking.
Yeah, my name's Pete. I'm one of the founding directors of Bodriggy Brewery in Abbotsford, Melbourne. Yeah, we started in 2017. I believe I'm here to chat sustainability, but
Yeah.
I'm open to all options at this stage.
Can we chat Specky Juice first, though?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I love that beer. It's good.
Do you have a beer, or are you beer free? Because we normally do a beer at the start of the show.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
absolutely.
a beer. It's probably Dan's usually got a glass of wine or something. But...
Yeah. What do you got?
No, I've got a Matic.
Oh,
okay. Newly inducted into the IBA directorship.
Yes, Annalise is now on the board of the IBA.
Yep. And now my local brewery.
Lovely.
Yeah, I've got this.
Where's Matic?
Matic is in the esteemed suburb of Ashmore, which is right next to the esteemed suburb where I live of Stabrador.
Okay.
So if you know the Gold Coast, you got Stabrador, Trashmore, and then some nicer suburbs.
Yeah.
But I don't venture outside of these bits. It's a triangle. It's good.
Yeah, no.
He calls it Stabrador, but it's actually Labrador, and it's actually a suburb that I grew up in when I was a kid. So
in the Goldie, yeah, that's one.
Yeah, it was much better. It only went downhill after I left.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely haven't gone uphill. Labrador, that people call it, who live there.
Labrador.
There you go.
Labrador. Hey, I've got this Art Monster beer from Korea that I picked up.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, wow,
why don't you ask me what it's called?
What's it called?
But no fucking idea. There's not a word of English on this except for the ABV and the size of the can, which is 500 mils and 4.9%.
Cool label.
I actually have not. Yeah, they're bloody amazing. I've got another one here.
They don't have ABAC.
This is from Art Monster. I was in Korea judging.
Let's get a little photo. Let me get a screenshot because we're going to put this on the thing. Have you got a can? Wait, we didn't get there, but let's go.
There we go.
Nice. Okay.
So I was in Korea a couple of weeks ago, and I was judging beer at the Korean International Beer Awards, and I picked up a couple of cans of beer, and now I don't know what I've got. But here we are.
What color is it? Does it have a special color or anything, or does it look like a normal beer?
I'll tell you what, this glass is looking pretty average.
Well, that's standard.
It smells like a Hefeweizen. It's just like the whole room's just filled up with banana ester right now. So I'm pretty sure this is a Hefeweizen. Let me just check my... Yes, it's a German Hefeweizen ale. World champion craft beer.
All right.
Beer that won 21 international beer competitions.
That's pretty good.
How was the scene there?
Amazing. It's amazing. They're very much love their craft beer. Art Monster, for instance, it was a phenomenal brewery. It was like over 7 floors. So basically the brew house and the cellar was on the ground floor.
Wow.
Then the packaging line was on the first floor. So canning, bottling, and kegging. And then on the 3rd floor was all the raw material storage. On the 4th floor was like a prep kitchen, a bunch of prep kitchens, because they have 18 different tap rooms around Korea. And they do all the food prep in the one place and ship out, and then create really simple systems at the tap rooms to keep costs low and the consistency of the hospitality experience and that sort of thing. It was amazing.
Yeah, awesome. Is it similar to Japan? I've been to my brother's living in Japan at the moment. I've been going quite a lot, and I was the scene there was different than what I was expected.
Really small breweries in Japan.
Yeah.
Really small footprint breweries in Korea, but they're very big operations. So
yeah, nice.
What did you think? How long ago did you go to Japan? This is quite recent.
I mean, he's been there for a while, so I've been going quite frequently. Like I've been going once a year since since COVID sort of wound up, and it was just you know the Japanese, they're very particular about and very artisan and like very focused and driven and attention to detail, which I think was reflective in their beers to a certain respect. But I guess from the hospitality point of view, I was a little bit surprised how basic some of the setup was, particularly because in some ways like it's hard to get a bad meal in areas of or all of Japan really, as far as I'm concerned. And then the brew pub model there kind of it was very they hadn't really explored that too much in my experience, but the beer's really good. And very thorough, and it was interesting. I liked it.
I'm thinking of going back to Japan just for my kids, but when I went there, it was quite a while ago. I'd heard good things about the beer scene, and I don't know if it's my research or my lack of taste or something, but I was very underwhelmed.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought that too, but I was just trying to be nice about it.
I get that vibe. You were trying to be nice. I found it hard to get good beer, to be honest.
I hope to be heading over, or I will be heading over to Japan in October because I've got a mate that's getting married there. But I hope to be judging at the International Beer Cup as well in Sapporo at the same time. So,
oh, great! That'll be amazing.
Should be there for the whole month, so it should be pretty good. And so, mate, tell us about.
Wait, you didn't introduce your beer yet, did you?
Oh,
what beer you got there?
This is just a beer that we released last week. It's called Bodriggy Company Card IPA. It's like a relatively stock standard run of the mill 5.8% West Coasty, really piney. It's the first time we've just started trying to put some of our limiteds into the 500ml can again for the first time. We had, when we first launched, we had some fairly catastrophic failures with it. So that was 3 or 4 years ago. So we just thought we've got a few beers planned in the next couple of months in the 500ml cans, and we're kind of trying to hone in on the kind of like the Black Ops specialties, those slightly bigger, hazier beers, and just doing tiny batches to try and diversify the range a little bit. But tastes really good, fresh as.
Have you got a canning line there? I haven't been there since you very first opened. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we do. We've got a we've got a 5-head Cody filler. So it's all the whole complete operations in house, but it's good, yeah.
So where does the name Bodriggy come from?
Hey, that was my question here. That's the only question I had, and you fucking asked it.
Sake.
I like how casually you stole my question, though. That was good. I'll edit that out.
I didn't even know it was your question.
Bodriggy's we still do have the business opposite it. It's a it's a bar called Dr. Moss, and
Oh, I
the
love
original
that place.
Oh yeah.
stonemason. It's an old building built in the late 1800s, and the original stonemason had a Bodriggy villa on it, and I think it's an area in Cornwall, but we just kind of we wanted something fairly organically Australian and kind of not so serious. And it's was relatively, I guess, kind of relevant to the area since it was been sitting on the street for over 100 years. And so it's just the old stonemason hedge on top of the business.
You do an event at Dr. Morse there, 'cause I've had some cracker days in the beer garden out the back there, and I can't remember what the event was that I went to there, but shit, I had a good time.
Yeah, I mean, we used to do the Humboldt County Showcase. Maybe you came to that.
Yeah.
That was really good. It's sort of, back in it's such a fast moving scene, isn't it? Back in it's been 10 years since we owned that place. And when we first opened, it was, I guess, kind of at the period of time where it was an emerging scene, and we were doing what would be seen as kind of stock standard beers in these days, but back then it was lots of beer launches, lots of tap takeovers, lots of areas that we'd highlight. But it's the industry's fast caught up, so it's probably a fairly stock standard, which is a good thing, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And so tell us a little bit about, because we're here to talk about sustainability and that sort of thing, which is a subject that I like talking about, because when you're a brewer, you realize that making beer is a very energy and resource intensive proposition. And you see a lot of breweries go, yeah, we'll go down the path of being carbon neutral and sustainable. We'll slap a few solar panels on the roof and see what happens, that sort of thing. What sort of differentiates Bodriggy's efforts with regards to carbon neutrality and sustainability?
Well, I guess we started in 2017, and we how I'm sure you guys did it when you kind of doing that conceptualization period, and you're kind of asking what are we, and what does the brand really stand for, and who are we going to appeal to, and what like how much substance is in what we actually are doing. And we worked out a bunch of core pillars, like 4 core pillars that we wanted to basically stand by, and kind of have consistency in everything that we did and launched behind. So it kind of came to the point where we, after 6 years or 5 years of brewing, those pillars weren't that relevant to us. I mean, there was just that most of the 3 of the pillars were, but one of them was about innovation. And back then we were making 200,000 liters a year, and now we're sort of pushing towards the 2 million. So it just wasn't really about us making funky, really challenging beers or left of center, and we just matured as a bit of as a brand. And so the discussion this is just from the business angle, was we thought it was time for us to have a rejig in regards to those pillars. And it was a process that we'd kind of been doing anyway, where we're in Abbotsford. It's a fairly left-leaning area. It's a very topical conversation amongst other businesses, and pretty much a straight-up conversation we had with our customers and people that drunk our beer, and which was like, these are the things that we're thinking of. We're quite good friends with the guys at Capital in Canberra, and they kind of told us how it went down, and I guess that was the start of it. So, and then we spoke to the company Pangolin that kind of do these quite comprehensive audits, and I guess it was just an initial conversation at the start. But yeah, then we decided, after we kind of it was about a 2-year plan, and After a bit of a broad chat, we decided to have a crack at it. Really, I guess that's the long and the short of it.
What does it take to become an accredited carbon neutral business? Because I'm looking at my notes here, and it basically says you're the first Victorian brewery and only the second in Australia to become to gain carbon neutral accreditation for the beers and the brewery. What sort of what do you have to go through to get to that point where you become accredited as carbon neutral?
Yeah, I mean, cut a long story short, it's a really gnarly audit, like a really, really, really 2 years worth of recording everything that comes in and goes out. So at that stage, you're not necessarily trying to cut emissions or anything. All you're doing is presenting what's happening inside the business, essentially, to the company that's Penguin that's doing the audit. So yeah, like because we did both the brew pub and the wholesale operation, it's every single delivery coming in and out, how much is coming in and out, and then everything that's getting delivered. Yeah, so it's A to Z, a full comprehensive audit that goes for about 2 years, really. That's the
So you would have done sort of some initial sort of baseline audit to sort of see where you stood in order to head to that path of becoming carbon neutral, yeah?
Yeah, part of it came about because we've sort of the wheels are moving a little bit in that direction anyway. My business partners and I have I guess a general interest in renewables, so we were trying to move in that direction anyway. So yeah, we did do we looked at what it would actually take, and then we kind of assigned people in. So we had a guy from the kitchen, we had a guy from the packaging area do it, and then we had a guy from the brewery area all handle their separate areas, and then yeah, we just kind of got into the routine of making sure that everything was recorded, and yeah.
What were sort of the key that if you could list sort of your top 3 things that sort of made the most impact towards heading towards carbon neutral, what would they be?
Yeah, I mean, that was a really interesting component. We were really surprised, to be honest. Obviously, we thought there was going to be, like the stock standard water issue, and I guess electricity, but some other really big things like 10% of our total business emissions come from red meat, which is a real surprise.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But yeah, 7% of our emissions come from gas, which is primarily from our boiler, but we also have quite a lot of heaters inside the venue. Yeah, I guess the big hitters was water. Meat, I guess, was 10%. Electricity in general, and then mostly distribution. So just raw materials coming and going, basically, were the real big heavy hitters.
So do you still have the meat thing hanging from the thing when you go in there? Because that was cool. You still get that? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, no, it was because at the moment we're going through a bit of a because part of it is we want we really thought it was a nice angle in regards to engaging some of our up and coming staff members. We've got close to 100 staff members, and we a lot of we want to start working on staff retention. We want to work on staff engagement, and a lot of our staff members live in this area, and we feel like there's a fair percentage of them that are engaged in that sort of they're interested in this as a project in general. So that was part of the reason too, is we talk quite a lot about the 1%ers. Mostly there's only so much we can do about, we're not going to pull our boiler out and we need water to make beer. There's only so much we can do about those sorts of things. But so at the moment, it's an extra bonus, I guess, for us is trying to engage with our staff members and get them to contribute towards trying to knock over a couple of these 1%ers. And to be honest, most of the time it's not even 1%er, it's like 0.2% or 0.3%. They give you a really, like, you know, I could tell you how much emissions, for example, our stationery took for that period of time. So it's that's part of it as well, is you just sort of bring those things to light, hopefully have a discussion about it amongst your staff, and work a plan out on trying to hit it on the head.
How far, when you did the original audit, how far north of or south of carbon neutral were you? Like, how much did you have to change to get to that?
It's a fairly complicated question, because I guess that it is a little bit open-ended in regards to, like, we've got a plan that we want to hit by 2030, but it's so dependent on the performance of our business and how, you know,
Right.
like, you know, we want to get all this, because most of the heavy hitters it's just straight up, it just costs money to do it. And we hope to be able to get to those positions. But I think realistically, there's probably 6 big heavy hitters in the next 6 years that we'd like to do. We've got a big strip of land next to the brew pub that we'd like to purchase and just fill with silos. That would be a huge emission reduction. Whether we're going to be able to do that in 3 years, like we outlined to Penguin, or not, it's a little bit hard to say. And they're really open about that too. They just say, look, put it in there, let's have a crack at it. And it's really a process of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You might get it and you might not get it. It's So I guess to answer your question, ideally we're about 6 years off fairly drastic reductions to be able to get to the point where we're carbon neutral. But I think we'll always be paying some credits.
That was going to be my question: is are you purchasing offsets or carbon credits and that sort of thing?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I think it's So it would be a really interesting case study to have a look at and see if there's any brewery that's completely carbon neutral in 10 years' time that are not that aren't buying credits. I would love to see that situation. We're very urban as well. I feel like you could. So there's only so many solar panels we can put on our roof. There's not that much room for water storage. We are limited. I think that if you had space and you could expand those sorts of operations, you could potentially run completely without credits, which would be cool. I don't think we'll touch wood. I don't think we'll ever quite get to that point.
So just so I understand it, to call yourself carbon neutral, you've got all this stuff in process, but you buy credits in the meantime to make up the difference. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so I guess that's part of the process. Is I thought that was really interesting. That that's basically it. So they say to you, all right, this is exactly how much you're bleeding. What do you think would be a reasonable amount of time to be able to start working towards getting to the point where you're closer to being carbon neutral? And you set a target. And so that was what our 2030 target, and then they do an audit every single year, and they basically tell you how you're tracking. And it's a complicated audit because it's basically done primarily. So our production is going up, so obviously our emissions are going up, but they work on a per litre ratio. So ideally, our production keeps going up, but our emissions per litre
should be going down.
Yeah.
Are you seeing any cost savings from any of the sustainability side of things? And I've had some really. I've been out to Rocky Ridge out in WA, and they're they're pretty much like, yeah, we're doing this. This is expensive to do, but it's saving us a lot of money as well. It's taking a lot of money off our unit costs and that sort of thing. Are you seeing any benefits in that regard, or at this point in time, or is it something you plan to realize later? Or
Yeah, it's I think it's coincided, I guess, with our stage in the journey. We're sort of pushing towards that 2 million liters, where I do feel like we're kind of coming to the point where we're coming out of the smaller guy brewery and coming into the sort of small to medium type. So it's conducive of, which is good timing for us. It's conducive of working in that more bulk type arrangement, which is definitely helping. So, we try to buy everything, but instead of getting sort of 4 or 5 grain deliveries in the week, we're kind of trying to do it all in one hit. And in general, yeah. And then when we order boxes and packaging and stuff, we're not, we're generally not doing it for 2 or 3 pack runs. We try and do it for a quarter or 6 months or whatever. So there's an element of the production cycle that lends itself to being a little bit more carbon neutral, which is, I think, we're benefiting from to a certain extent. And then there's the stock standard. Of course, our solar panels save us 10 grand a year, that kind of stock standard stuff. Yeah, so we're trying to work at it. It is a little bit of when we first made the announcement, I feel like when we announced it to all our staff, there was a little bit of a like, okay, from now on, where it's going to be the whole brewery is going to be completely glossy and 1,000,000% solar power orientated, blah blah blah. But that was a big sort of discussion point that we had to have with everyone, just letting them know that it's like, hey, this is a journey, and there's going to be some months that we fuck up, and there's going to be some things that we do that aren't going to be in that direction. We have to obviously prioritize the welfare of the business most of the time, and if it can tick the box, it can tick the green box as well. That's great, but sometimes there will be times that we regress a little bit.
Yeah,
we just have to be aware of that.
Swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question about the volume? You're approaching that volume surprising to me. That sounds like it's
in that space. That's huge.
Yeah. Are you nervous at all about where that puts you in the industry, the way the industry's going? You've got these additional costs, and then you're getting to that volume where you're getting into that territory where you're sort of competing with the majors in some sense. I'm guessing to get that kind of volume, you must have some distribution a fair way from the venue, and you're much bigger than just a brew pub. Are you nervous about that, or do you have thoughts on that?
Oh, it's impossible not to be nervous with just being aware of what's happening in the industry. Yeah, no, we are. I guess I think a lot of the growth has come from we still do sell probably 25% of everything that we make within a 5 to 10K radius, which makes me less nervous. We don't really have that much distribution outside of outside of the inner north, really. Like, we do a little bit of interstate stuff, but that helps ease the nerves a bit. But yeah, I mean, it's impossible to not be nervous.
Melbourne's pretty good with kegs, isn't it? Like, you have a decent percentage of keg sales?
Yeah, it's about 50-50. Yeah,
that's pretty good, isn't it? Like, it'd be almost impossible to run a brewery in Queensland and have a 50-50 ratio, close to home.
To pack, yeah.
What's the sort of standard ratio in Queensland?
It's been 2 years since I've been in the game, so I can't answer that. But I know after COVID, it was all that went out the window. I don't know of anyone doing that kind of volume and that kind of ratio.
It's also, I mean, to be honest with you as well, it's a month by month proposition. This time last year, it was pretty dire. Like, it was, we're having some fairly frank discussions, and I think it's a good experience learning how to batten down the hatches a bit, and we're preparing for that again this coming winter. So it is a month by month process at the moment, and I guess this time around, I feel like we're pretty prepared to be able to sort of just push the stop button and kind of batten down the hatches and wait till summer again. It is comparative to Queensland. I feel like it would be quite a bit more seasonal down here, so you kind of you have your good.
But I think the big thing that, I mean, I know the big mistake that we made, and I don't know about other breweries, but having to take those leaps that are so big that you can't come back from, that, you know, you take them when things are growing and you take it as a leap of faith and you hope it works out. And a lot of the time it does. But if you're taking a leap like that, and a good example is that, you know, going to a production facility or going to a big pack line or whatever the case is, if you can avoid taking that sort of leap, you have the option to batten down the hatches. But if you take a leap like that, at that point, there's kind of no coming back from it. So do you guys have the ability to kind of expand without taking a huge leap like that?
Yeah, it's interesting because I had a little bit of a read up of you guys, and I couldn't believe that you guys were making 12 million liters a year, because it felt like
we definitely weren't. I don't know where you read that. Also, I've got nothing to do with the company, so let's not talk about Black Ops. But
whatever. I'm sure it was a big number. So it was that makes perfect sense, because you're right. That would be you know, like if we went, I know how hard we've had to grind to get to this point now, and if someone said to us next year we had to make 6, it would just be there would be.
But it would be possible where you are, because you're from my recollection,
it's a very small footprint.
No, I mean, it's like we're pretty much that's it for us where we are. There's no real expansion outside of the building that we're in.
You have big tanks in there, don't you? But it's a kind of a brew pub vibe. But you got these massive fucking 50 hect tanks, or was it bigger than 100 hect or something? Like
80 hect tanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very practical space, and you know, we've kind of started working in weekend shifts and nighttime shifts and stuff. So I feel like but unless we, there's not much we can do. There's a little bit of scope down the laneway that we might be able to stretch it out a little bit. But I'm actually, to be honest with you, I'm pretty happy with that amount. Like I don't. We'd probably have to get some big hit and shareholders or something else on that. I don't know. Like I feel fairly content in the between 2 to 3 million. You tell me. What do you reckon?
I think that's smart.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, I have to make sure I get down there, because I'm heading down in a couple of weeks with Adam Shell.
Nice.
For the AIBA dinner. So
great. Yeah, come down, mate. Let us know.
I'll bring Adzi and Joel down, and they can shoot an episode of their Aussie Beer Voyage podcast or something like that. And we'll come and say hi and that sort of thing, and I'll get your details on an email or something like that. So
that'd be great, Indo. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, it should be a good week. So yeah.
Well, good.
Heading to the AIBA dinner at all?
Yeah, we'll be there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, definitely. Should be good. I don't even know if we've got some entrants in there. So
good.
Awesome. Do you guys still focus? I mean, there's probably a little bit of a less focus from our point of view, particularly with the indies and stuff, in regards to that too. But I'd like to think that maybe in the coming years we'd get back into it a little bit. It's important. It's sort of just kind of dropped off the radar, I guess. Just everyone counting their dollars a bit more. So
yes, yeah,
it's not
absolutely.
cheap.
Yeah. No, it's not cheap. It's not cheap. So yeah, that's all good.
Also changing.
Thanks for joining us.
Changing the Gabs and the Good Beer Week and everything around the same time kind of changes things quite.
This is no BrewCon this year, so
no.
Awesome, mate. Thanks so much for joining us this evening and that sort of thing. It's really interesting to hear about what's going on at Bodriggy with your sustainability efforts, and wish you all the best for the future, mate.
Oh, thanks so much for having us, guys. I really enjoyed it. Cheers.
Yeah, no dramas. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All the best.
Catch up.
And for those listening and who haven't been to Bodriggy, it's a fucking amazing venue,
it's great.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I was very
Yeah,
surprised
just,
when
my
when they
memory's a
opened.
bit blurry, but they had like a meat cabinet, didn't they?
No, I just reminded him of that. I was like, "Do you still have the
Yeah, there
meat
was like
cabinet?"
the
He said,
meat
"Yes."
cabinet, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
that's
they had
10%
like
of their
fish like hanging
emissions.
off it and shit. It was sick. They've still got it, which is good.
Oh,
But
that's
no, I remember when they opened, it was like, "You guys are opening a brew pub around the corner from Stomping Ground. You're fucking out of your mind. Like, you got no
Yeah.
chance." And then I went there. I was like, "This place is like arguably better than bloody Stomping Ground.
Yeah.
It's legit."
The beers are good. The venue's great. It's
Yeah,
good.
2 million. That's
a lot
crazy
for that
they're doing that
space.
volume.
Fuck, man.
Yeah,
That's wild.
yeah.
I mean, just even just smashing out a million liters in kegs in that space. Boy, oh boy.
That's crazy.
That's
isn't it?
wild.
Well, that's good. It's good to see someone. They seem to be doing pretty well.
Yeah, that was really good.
Carbon neutral thing. Have that conversation another time. It's more your thing than my thing.
Oh, look, I think it's just it's the reason why I take an interest in it is that, you know, every time I brew and you realize the amount of fucking resources that, you know, energy and water and all that sort of stuff that just literally goes down the drain.
Yeah.
It plays on you, man. You're just like, well, fuck, you know, beer is not the most sustainable beverage and that sort of thing. And and for the industry as a whole to get to a point where they're becoming more sustainable, that's going to take a lot of work and a lot of dollars. And it's really good to see, you know, pioneers like Bodriggy, you know, like Rocky Ridge, like Helios here in Brisbane, Charlie's Creek out in Chinchilla, which is going to be carbon neutral as well.
What about Brewdog with the forest? Are you into that?
Sorry. Is it? That's fake carbon neutral.
Okay,
I don't
sorry.
know.
And, my face.
The trees died, didn't they?
My face is. I'm gonna get sunburnt from the reflection from my fucking face in this computer. You're gonna have to put sunglasses on. Can you see how bright my?
Yeah, I can see what's going on. Where are you anyway? In the basement?
I'm in my basement. I'm in my basement.
You gonna set up a pool table there or something?
It's not high enough. You'd smack your head on the roof.
Oh, is it that? Okay, so you really are in the dungeon.
Have you seen Parasite, the movie?
Yes.
I am in that movie.
The Korean one.
I'm like the bottom of the tier, getting pissed on. You know what I mean?
Did Aaron send you down there? Did you? You in the bad books in the doghouse? You get sent to the basement.
No, when we moved in there, she's like, "You can do your podcast down here." I'm like, "That's fucking stupid. I'm not doing my podcast down here." Sure enough, first podcast. How have you been? We haven't done this in 2 weeks. It's my fault.
No, that's right.
I forgot it was Thursday.
Yeah. I was ready to go. You know, on Anzac Day, I had a few beers and that sort of thing, but I would have given it a red hot go. And then you went cooking fish.
I was cooking fish. I made a fire and I had to cook fish in it, and
yeah,
it was a challenge because I decided I was going to butterfly fish. Do you ever have you seen that Mr. Nerland guy from Sydney who does the fish butchery?
No.
You got to follow this dude on Instagram. He does like the butterfly fish. So you chop it in half, and it goes flat, and you somehow get the bones out, and you cook it, the whole fish. Yeah. And I just want, I'm doing this. I'm doing it, and I attempted it on the fire, and that's why I didn't do the podcast.
I was pretty, I love eating fish, but it was a bit of a wild week last week though because the commo died finally.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, for someone who has no hair, I'm surprised about your new profession that you've chosen in life.
What's that?
Well, I just thought you'd become a hairdresser
with my new car. It's not a hairdresser's car.
Have you not become? You haven't become a hairdresser? Okay.
It's not a hairdresser's car. Piss off.
Oh shit! I thought you changed professions. There's
some famous bald hairdressers. Even if that was the case, there are some famous bald hairdressers.
You're like a barber. You're like a barber to the stars type thing. You focus on beards.
Shave and a haircut too, Bob. You know.
Yeah.
No. It was just like the commo. Oh, it just died at the end of my street and wouldn't start again. And I was like, and I'm looking at the car and it's not turning over, and I just went, that's time. Yeah.
That's fair.
Nearly got to that point last year when I went out to my brother's place out at Danthorpe, and it got overheated going up Cunningham's Gap and that sort of thing. And I was like, I'll start looking and that sort of thing. But then when the car died, last week I was like, okay, it's time. So yes, I bought a little Mazda 2. I wanted something that was very fuel efficient, and
did you have to do a traineeship before you bought the car, or was
at
it
TAFE for hairdressing at Sunshine TAFE. No. And it's and like you can't call it a hairdresser's car. It's a
No, I didn't.
six-speed manual, mate. It's a
No,
six-speed manual.
I legitimately thought you'd change professions. I'm not having to go
Just
you for
no,
your car.
Well, this is you're hinting at it, mate. You're
Right.
hinting at it. So
No.
I'm not a hairdresser.
Okay.
I can barely cut my own hair, and there's not a
No.
lot to cut. And so yeah, I just bought that. I've hardly driven it. I've only driven it from when I bought it. That's the thing. I don't drive very much because most of my Ks are on the scooter at this point in my life, and it's fun. You know, if I'm going out to
car or the scooter.
Well, all of my vehicles are now fun because I've got the
yeah.
VFR now, and the good thing about the Mazda 2 though, there's so much room for activities in my garage now. Because it's like going from a big station wagon to little hatchback. It's great.
So you got room for a little studio down there, some mirrors and some clippers and all of the
barber's chair
stuff. Yeah, barber's chair. There you go.
Yep.
You probably have a distillery down there and just do the whole.
I don't know what to distill, but I think the Mackley production might go up with that extra space.
You came up in conversation with my kid today. Because we're talking about petrol prices every time we go past the service station, and Will was like, "What's auto gas?" And I was trying to explain to him that people used to convert their cars over to LPG, and as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, it's not a thing that really happens anymore. Is that am I correct in saying that?
No, it's becoming very difficult to get LPG, to fill up with LPG. So the history behind it, no, the history behind it was in 2004 when Kevin Rudd was the Prime Minister.
Kevin 07.
Kevin 04. And what happened was, as part of a sustainability thing, they decided that they would get the Australian car fleet switched over to LPG, to gas, because we had lots of gas. And so they were offering $3,500 subsidy to convert petrol cars to LPG. And so the old Commodore had factory LPG and that was one of the reasons why I bought it. I was actually, I remember when I bought it, I had that car for over 12 years. And I specifically wanted an LPG Commodore, because when I first bought the car, LPG was 45 cents a litre in 2012 when I bought the car. It's
still fucking cheap now.
It's $1.10 now. It's pretty much what you pay. You can pay 99 cents out at the airport.
And now these woke fuckers are banning gas, aren't they?
Oh, look, it was to be fair, it was actually part of an environmentally conscious choice that I made at the time, because there were no electric cars, and running a car on LPG was a little bit less CO2 emissions and stuff like that. So
no, but aren't they banning? They're trying to ban gas now.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, there's states, probably Victoria, where they're stopping people putting in gas stoves and stuff because gas is.
But that's household gas though. Yes, not auto gas though.
The same shit though, right?
No, it's not the same gas.
Oh, okay. That was going to be the next question.
No, you can't fill up a gas bottle or something with auto gas and expect your barbecue to work properly. It won't.
But what's the difference?
I don't know, but I know it's not the same.
Okay, interesting. So it's not LPG.
It's a different type of LPG, I'm led to believe.
This sounds like a fucking.
Well, it's like leaded, it's like leaded and unleaded petrol and 91 and 95 and 98. It's all petrol.
Okay.
It's different types of petrol.
So it's environmentally sustainable to swap your car to LPG for $3,500 and then not use APG. LPG.
Yeah.
Got it. Anyway, how's the Mazda 2 go for you?
It's okay. I've hardly driven the fucking thing.
It's
good fun though.
I've had
it's a good little car. It's just it's good. It's actually quite roomy. The aircon works great. Stereo's pretty good. It's 2015. I paid.
What's the miles per liters per 100 on that little bad boy?
5.2.
That's pretty good.
It's amazing. So I'm heading out to a uni reunion on the weekends out at Toowoomba. So I'm going to drive out there and throw the tent in the back of the car and see what happens.
Cut some hair. I've had my fair share of hairdressers' cars, so I've had every hairdresser's car. So
what was your most hairdresser-like car?
Mazda MX-5, probably. I feel like that's you just choked on your fucking beard. I think that's the most ultimate hairdresser car, isn't it?
Well, it's certainly doing nothing for your heterosexuality.
Well, you can talk. You ride a scooter and you're a barber with a fucking Mazda 2. Jesus Christ. All right, let's go. Okay, so everyone missed this. I was extremely excited after we recorded episode number 120, which is a multiple of 12, and we didn't put any effort into it. And then when I hit publish on the post, I realized that the episode had a little Easter egg contained in it, and I posted in our group, facebook.com/groups/Boss and the Brewer, thinking everyone would notice this Easter egg and be very happy about the fact that while we didn't celebrate the number 12 in our 120th episode, there was a nice little reference to 12.
What was that?
No one did. No one noticed. Not even you did.
I didn't notice. No.
You know what it was? The episode went for 1 hour and 12 minutes and 0 seconds. And not on purpose. I didn't do it on purpose.
That's randomly. Just how it worked out.
Yeah.
Oh, very good, very good. Well done, us.
Yeah.
Let's get into a bit. It smells amazing.
What do you got? I just had beer as well, actually.
This is the Art Monster American Pale Ale, and it just smells fucking delicious right now.
Fuck, that's a head. Look
God,
at
that's amazing.
That looks. Well, you know, it's just because it's dark, is it?
Yeah, it's just dark. It's actually like golden color, but it's.
I've got the Matic White IPA Celebration. I didn't realize these 2 other beers I got were very high stando level. This is 2 standos.
Oh, damn, that's really fucking good. It's just American Pale Ale, just classic.
Very
lots
dark.
of no. It's a pretty dark golden, but wow, lots of piney hops and lots of floral hops. Real assertive bitterness. God damn, that beer is good.
Good. Very good.
When was the last time you had a good American Pale Ale?
All right. I don't drink that much beer anymore, to be honest. If you do the podcast, I do it.
Yeah.
But this is my local brewery, so I'm very much enjoying the Matic White IPA. This is very good. And
Trashmore's finest.
Trashmore's finest. You know, opposite Matic, they've got a little dodgy little diner that says crafted beer available here.
Crafted beer.
Crafted beer. So Matic have got some competition on their hands.
Oh, yeah. Watch out for that crafted beer.
So we've got a bit of news, and then we've got HR, and then we've got HRF1, then we've got 12
There's
questions.
so much F1 news. That's crazy.
Once again, I fucking forgot. Oh, no, I fucked up again. I just realized I forgot to check the questions before the guest left. And there was probably a lot of questions in there for Peter because I asked people to ask questions of him. And that's my fault, isn't it?
Oh, well, here we are.
Here we are.
What have we got there? Asahi closing Matilda Bay Brew Pub.
Yeah, you were just drinking a Hefeweizen before. You were drinking a sort of a redback sort of inspired beer.
Well, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one that they're closing that. Yeah, it's kind of strange. I get it. It's just another financial decision and all that sort of stuff that gets made, but that brewery was pretty new.
Yeah.
And Phil Sexton was involved with it. He's like one of the, he's one of the pioneers of the Australian, craft brewing industry. I mean, my epiphany beer, Phil Sexton.
Yeah.
And my epiphany beer is Alpha Pale Ale, and that's the beer that I was living in Perth at the time, and Alpha Pale Ale was the beer that got me into craft beer. It wasn't Little Creatures; it was Alpha Pale Ale. I used to go down the Queens, down on Beaufort Street there, and Mount Lawley, and smash pints of Alpha Pale Ale on a Sunday afternoon at the Queens, and it's pretty then it sort of got sucked up into the Well, then they had the brewery in North Fremantle, then it got moved over to Penong or something like that. Then they had went to the Port Melbourne where CBco is now,
Mm.
and then moved out and then closed and then sold that to CBco and had no brewery for a while, and then opened up that new brewery in Healesville, and then they closed that. What a
There's a big
wild
deal
history.
made when they opened too. There's a lot of brews
Yeah, but
news,
it's a wild history for
promotion
that
and
brand, you know.
Mm.
It's moved like literally it's a brewery and brewing company that's moved around so much,
Mm.
and has done a lot for the craft beer punters, you know, the craft beer fans. Although a lot of the newer fans probably wouldn't think too much of Matilda Bay, you know, and but yeah, you just didn't see much of the Matilda Bay beers around.
Never. I was excited about the Redback coming back because that was one of my epiphany
Yeah,
beers. It probably wasn't number one, but it was
yeah.
one of two
Bohemian
or
Pilsner
three.
was
And
awesome as well, and Alpha Pale Ale was excellent, and
Mm.
Dog Bolter, you know, fuck, that beer was a cracker. And you just, yeah,
a
you
long
just,
time
just
ago, though,
after,
isn't it? I mean, the brand doesn't evolve. It's a different world. Like, what did they really expect? I feel like we've seen a lot of this lately where it's like a brand comes back hoping to capture that nostalgia and just doesn't quite capture it.
yeah, realizing that everybody's moved on,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. So I never would have pictured Phil Sexton brewing, you know, a hazy IPA or anything like that. So, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Sad news, but that's business, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a long time. It's a long time ago. New IBA directors, including not Phil from Hiker, but
No, he didn't get
Annalise
he didn't
from
get a
Matic
Guernsey.
is
Annalise
on the
from Matic
list.
got a thing. So who we got there? Tom Champion from
Felons,
Felons.
nice.
I'm having lunch with him tomorrow. And who else got the Annalise, Tom Champion, Glenn Brassington, Helen Black. She's a legend. From Coastal Brewing Company in Foster. It's spelt Forster, but it's pronounced Foster.
I have been there. It's a good spot.
And nice part of the world. Good fish and chip shops.
Amazing.
And who else got there? Paul, what's his name? Paul Maley from Shelter Brewing Company. So I think it's a good lineup, right? Yeah, it should be pretty good. I think that's a pretty good lineup there, and
Shelter's
I think
fucking
that
cool. We went there and when we went on our WA trip.
in
It's amazing.
Busso,
Yeah, very cool spot.
I think from a Queensland perspective, it's a bit sad that Phil Sharp didn't get up or anything like that. But,
no, I don't agree. That dude is way too busy. He's way too busy. He works
He's very
60,
busy.
70 hours a fucking week. When he's not working, he's doing a podcast. When he's not on that podcast, he's co-hosting this podcast. And when he's not doing any of that, he's overseas. And then when he's not doing any of that, he's hiking.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way in the world he would have had any time for this.
I'm
sure Annalise is very busy too. But
no, that's right. But I hope that Phil and Adzi get together now and start to do something with the Queensland chapter of the IBA. I think would be a good thing for them to do if they happen to choose to do that.
Yeah, but you don't need to be an elected board member to do that. They could just do meetups and be cooperative and.
No, that's right. We certainly need something more formal around the Queensland chapter of the IBA. But let's see what happens. We certainly need some lobbying locally, you know, and all that sort of stuff. You know, I've seen some. There's some pretty interesting stuff in the works with the version 2 of the Queensland craft brewing strategy, which isn't public yet. I can't talk about it, but yeah, we certainly need some local advocacy or advocacy. I prefer to call it advocacy. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm keen to hear more about that, but we'll when you can talk about it.
Yeah.
Next we've got Brew is back.
BROO.
I like this. Dave Walsh. Wait, did I link to this? Oh, no, wait,
yeah, I got it.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. So this guy does
okay,
very informative updates on Facebook groups. Dave Walsh, shout out.
Brewers in the final stage of contractual discussions with a premier local manufacturer which once finalised will enable Brew to resume production of its Australia draft beer. Were they making it in Mildura? No. Were they? I used to brew, funnily enough, when I was head brewer at Southern Bay. It felt odd. You know what I mean?
I mean, wouldn't this just be I mean, not to say funny, because I know like a lot of people are suffering and lots of bad shit is going on, but it would be the ultimate insult if like all these breweries collapse and then Brew just comes, like Bradbury's the whole thing, and comes out and comes back and takes over. Don't you think that? Am I a sicko for thinking that would be a little bit funny if that happened?
So here's a really interesting
That was a yes.
one, right? When they I'm just looking at this, right? So Brew has selected Evermore Supplies Proprietary Limited as its domestic distribution partner. What the fuck is that?
A lot of weird smoke and mirrors.
Evermore. I'm just looking up on the ABR, Australian Business Register. Evermore Supplies Proprietary Limited. Okay, there's an ABN. View the record on the ASIC website. Yeah, weird, but here we are. Let's brew. That's what you expect.
Speaking of weird, next on our list. Sorry. I feel bad, but next on our list of agenda items.
Send it, mate. Say it. Say it.
Mighty Craft are trying to buy BatB. Is my understanding of. Sorry. Did I read that? Did I say that right?
That's what you read. I read that too, and I was like, company without any cash tries to buy a company, much larger company with bigger market cap.
This is like the first time though, because how long ago was when on this podcast I said this company is going to be liquidated? This is quite a long time ago, probably 9 months ago. I don't know,
but it always is a slow train wreck though with this shit.
Oh, 100%. But at that point, they were telling the story of divesting non-core assets and all this kind of bullshit. But in this post, they're literally saying the company's not, but basically say the company is not viable unless they can own BatB.
Yeah.
They're basically drowning and they're just grabbing onto
BatB.
They can grab and trade.
It just happens to be the BatB.
I shouldn't laugh, but
no, it's funny as fuck. It's the wildest, craziest story that you've ever heard. Is like
other than Brew coming back. Brew coming back.
That's also just as wild, but they're fucking on par. Tell you what,
they're on par.
But it's basically a company that's literally, not heading in the right direction. Wants to buy out its biggest asset. Not happening. Not happening.
Should we try and get the BatB guys on? I mean,
we'll probably get Nick on if he'll talk to us about it. He probably won't talk to us about. He probably wouldn't talk about the specifics of the negotiations, obviously. No. But just standing at a distance, it's very easy just to point and laugh. You know what I mean? So
wouldn't they be better just standing at a distance and just doing a little bit of those ones and just?
Oh my god, I don't understand what the fuck's going on. It makes no sense. Maybe it's a thing. Maybe it'll happen. I don't know.
Or the other alternative is maybe everything that Mighty Craft ever said was complete bullshit.
Oh, you reckon?
I'm just.
What if BatB had bought Mighty Craft? That's more believable.
Well, it is actually quite a conundrum that they're in too, because they're part owned by a company with no money, but they also have no money, and they can't raise money while they're part owned by a company with no money, with a bad reputation that's dragging them down.
That's right.
So they almost need someone to come in and kind of rescue the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which is not happening in the current climate, I would assume. So it's a weird, tough situation. But I would assume if you BatB, you sit back and you watch Mighty Craft collapse and you just move on. And it doesn't affect you at all.
Buy out their share and pennies on the dollar and away you go.
Well, you don't buy anything. The company is effectively going to be liquidated. And
madness.
Get back to the
absolute madness.
Okay, now you've got an option of Hendo Reacts,
Yes.
or Hendo Reacts F1. So we've got HR, or we've got
Yep.
HR F1, and I've broken
We're
them up
doing
into
F1.
separate categories. Okay, because
F1. Because there's so much to talk about with F1. This is
I
the
know, okay.
wildest, silly season ever.
Okay, I need to piss. So you're gonna have to pause for like.
Rightio.
I'm gonna pause. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I've got Hendo Reacts F1, but I don't think I haven't. I don't think I have in there the Adrian Newey news. So do you want to start there?
Yeah.
Adrian Newey is leaving Red Bull.
He's leaving Red Bull. And if you don't know who Adrian Newey is, he's probably one of the most influential, pioneering car designers ever in
I think
Formula One.
I think he's the most.
Yeah,
look at the
100%.
championships.
Yeah. His cars have won 7 championships, I think. Maybe more.
Oh no, constructors. No, way more than that.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Well, teams he's been in have won something like 17 or something stupid.
Yeah. Yep. And he's out of Red Bull. He'll go on some gardening leave, no doubt. How long that's going to go
I
for?
don't think that was part of the thing.
Usually is,
but his exit was he's finishing up early 2025.
Yep.
And there's nothing said about what he's going on to, but there's talk of him being involved in the Red Bull hypercar. But I don't think there's gardening leave. Is my understanding.
He might go to Ferrari, which would be good.
So you think he's going to go to another? So there's no talk of him in another F1 team. Do you think he's going to go to another F1 team?
You'd have to consider the option.
So he's 65 years old.
Yes.
He's not. You probably know this, but I've been listening to podcasts and I didn't know this. He's not the technical director at Red Bull. You probably knew that, right?
No. Yeah, that's right.
He's basically a part-time
advisor.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So he's old. He doesn't want to work full time. He doesn't want to work far away from home. He's been approached by Ferrari many times over his career and always turned them down. It's intriguing.
He has indicated that he would like to work for Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton at some point.
He's indicated that he'd like to work with Fernando Alonso as well, because I heard him say that in the podcast. He's also indicated that he would like to work, once his sailing boat gets finished, to sail around the world.
Yeah. Yep. Very interesting. It's a big shake-up, and I think that the ramifications of that is going to be felt up and down the grid in Formula One for many years to come. It's going to be the end of Red Bull being the dominant team.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, with the new regulations coming in 2026, them changing to a Ford engine, not having Adrian Newey. Yep, 100%. It's going to be a big leveler.
Wow. But that's good though, right? I'm actually kind of
yes, I agree. I agree. It's going to be a good thing for
as a spectator.
As a spectator, exactly. So, yep, that's a really good thing. See what happens.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get on to. Do you want to share your screen and do some HRF1?
Do I have to share sound?
Yeah, share sound. See what happens. Fuck around.
Fuck around and find out. Right. Here we go. Hendo Reacts. We're going on to Twitter X. Carlos. Is that after his appendix surgery?
Yeah, read the caption.
Very ginger.
Read the caption above.
Where's the caption say? Adrian. So the caption is, it's basically Carlos Sainz walking into Jeddah with looking very ginger after his appendix operation. But the caption is Adrian Newey walking out of Milton Keynes with the RB21 plans up his ass.
Only the best F1 memes here at Boston the Brewer.
Absolutely. Right.
HRF1 too.
Oh, it's the boys. F1 fans watching Lewis Hamilton select the right team at the right time for the 3rd time in a row. Absolutely. Oh God, you got some good moves.
Yeah, my algorithm is strong with F1 content.
It's like Red Bull next year after Adrian Newey left, and it's like a Red Bull Billy cart going down the hill and wiggling all over the road. Go Max! Oh my god.
Yeah.
Crash? It's gonna crash. Go very slow.
Hey,
Oh, what a
there
bump.
we go.
Hey, the front fell off.
Missing front wing. It's all good.
Oh, it is Max Verstappen.
That was Max.
Oh, okay. HRF14, Luke Cooper. It's a real.
Yeah.
Stroll and Magnussen fighting for last place. There's two wheelie bins going down the road. Oh dear.
Both have a 10-second penalty.
Oh, there's some wild, wild memes this week. All right. HRF15, HRR15. Another reel.
I heard you want Max to drive for Mercedes next year.
Yes, Horner. Max would be so right for us.
I don't think he knows how to drive a tractor.
Good one, Horner. Sneak the joke out smoothly, same as you did with the allegations.
Why don't you just focus on making a decent car?
Why don't you let Max decide where he wants to go or not?
His dad never let him decide anything. Why should I?
Relax, Horner. Just read a book or go for a walk and chill out for a bit.
I have a book recommendation for you.
Oh, really? What is it?
How to Build a Car by Adrian Newey.
Shut up. I am going to sign Adrian too.
He doesn't know how to build a golf cart. Hey, Toto, I heard you...
Is that like a fucking AI voices?
Yeah.
Very well done.
Yeah. And that was also 6 days ago. That's pre the Adrian Newey decision to leave Red Bull. So that's pretty good.
I love the comment. Please leave Max out of your silly arguments.
Straight to the comments. Yeah.
Yeah. Why does Toto sound like Snape? Very good.
Thanks,
Very good.
Luke Cooper. He's pretty good.
Thank
on
you,
the
Luke
old
Cooper.
DMs
Yes.
for the, Right, should we look at these questions? Because most of them are probably going to be for Peter, but we're here now, so we might as well have a look.
We can answer them as Peter in an AI voice.
Okay. All right. Luigi, question for Peter. What's going on with all this all you can drink festival? Oh, actually, what do
yeah.
Let's talk about that because I did have that in HR non-F1 Reacts.
Yeah, that just looked really sketchy.
Good thread in the group though, right?
Oh my god, it was just like, can you pull that up? Which Endo Reacts?
I think it's probably HR1. Have a look. I did have it in there.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luigi said, what is this? And it was basically an all-you-can-drink craft beer festival on Rooftop Playground. Let's have a look at this. Let me share my screen again.
Do it.
Then we can have a look. No need to share sound. Unlimited beer festival. Oh god, this is just straight up. As soon as you do something like that, you are just heading to RSA and ABAC. Fucking misery. Right? I read this article and there was just some phrases in this that I was like, what the
Unlimited beer
about?
festival. There you go.
Kicking off its nationwide tour in the vibrant city of Melbourne. Yeah.
This is one way to get over dry July.
Yeah. At the Picker Port, Melbourne. And someone said in the comments that there's nothing in the bookings for Picker Port that festival is going to be there.
Oh, it's
on that date.
They're just making this shit up.
And okay, here we go. This is the sentence that fucking got me. From craft ales to hoppy IPAs, there's something to tantalize every taste bud.
With
I'm
American
sorry.
spelling as well.
I'm sorry, but IPA, the A in IPA
Is a craft ale.
stands for ale. Got two kinds of music, country and western.
You tempted by these early bird tickets though, or no?
How much?
25. Unlimited beer tasting.
Wait,
music
25.
And fun.
So wait, you're telling me an all-you-can-drink beer festival for $25?
Also unlimited fun though. It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, but with unlimited beer, you're going to have unlimited fun. Well,
Exactly.
until you fall over. The festival will run in 2 sessions, 12 till 3 p.m. and 4 till 7 p.m. It's a 3-hour session, that's fine. Cheers to the end of Dry July.
3 beers.
Look at all this stolen fucking stock photography. Southwest Craft Beer Festival. Look at this shit. Something from Chicago. The glass on it says Chicago.
Oh my god!
Fucking look at this shit. What's this fucking thing here? That's just odd.
Zoom in on that bad.
Little bit of fucking don't know what the hell that is, but that is certainly not Australia. That kind of looks like that's not Gabs.
It looks like Gabs, doesn't it?
It looks like Gabs, but it's not. I can tell that it's not. So something odd going on there. Weird. There's a few steins and shit. There's a different type of glass again. There's some cool people drinking beer. 23rd Studios. Probably stolen stock.
A lot of overlap in the people. There's a few people that are the
Another
same
one.
people.
It's probably all AI generated people. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like, yeah, the stock photography does not paint a very good picture of this particular
No,
festival. Maybe it's a thing. I don't know. If it's too good to be true, it usually is.
Did I buy us 2 tickets? Maybe I did.
Did you? Did you? Let's fucking go. I'm serious. Let's go. It's going to be fucking
It's like Pinapalooza 2.0. What do you mean? Of course we're going.
like $25 a fucking pop. Let's take
fucking
fucking
bargain.
both Adam Shells as well.
Oh god. All right.
Fly to Melbourne. We'll fly both Adam Shells to Melbourne. So you, me, we're
Yeah.
going to double date. You and Adam Shell and me and Adam Shell. Fuck yeah. Damn.
Team. All
What
right,
else are we going to
Luigi.
do on a weekend?
Exactly. Luigi, we're back in Miami this weekend. Oh, so excited. Thoughts of the new Ferrari livery with the blue detail to in inverted commas celebrate 50 years racing in the US. That has nothing to do with new sponsor, which I think is HP, which he says, which coincidentally has a blue logo. But it's a different blue though. It's like a light blue, but
It's
yeah,
very
I'm down
light
with it.
blue. Yeah. Yeah. It's a
I'm down
sky
with it.
blue
Little
kind of
stripy
thing.
blue. I'm down with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Works.
I like Miami. I like that little back thing with the little thin little technical set of corners there and that sort of thing.
Is Eminem rapping there? I read somewhere that I could just be making this up, but
The Yanks usually turn it on pretty well.
they do. They really do.
You know, Vegas last year was wild. It was
And
amazing.
sprint weekend too. It's going
Is
to be
it?
non-stop this weekend.
Yeah, good. It's been a good
Yeah.
season. I've thoroughly enjoyed this season.
Yeah, I've gotten used to. Well, last race was the best.
China was amazing.
China was
that
good.
whole weekend was phenomenal. You know,
Yeah,
Australia
I think
was
with
good,
the silly,
with
with the
Verstappen
silliness
going
that's
out.
happening, and
Yeah,
and
it's good. It's good.
it's good.
On and off the track silliness. I'm thoroughly enjoying this season.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we've just adjusted to the fact that Max is just dominating, and we're kind of just looking at the rest of the grid to
That's right.
be entertained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy days.
Podium predictions for Miami GP. You got anything? You know, our driver predictions have already gone to shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because we're shit at predicting drivers.
Well, I understand that, but yeah.
Well, it's going to be Max in front. Max and Checo. Checo's having a terror as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
It's podium nearly every race, isn't he?
yeah, nearly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing all right.
You know, and a fourth and something. He's much better than what he was doing last season.
Well, he started the season last year quite well as well. And he went
Yeah.
to shit by the end.
Yes.
So we'll see.
Yep.
Big weekend for
But it's
Matt,
good.
for Checo, big weekend for Ricardo.
Yep.
He was better last week. There's a lot of drivers that have their job on the line. Like Joe and Bottas, we predicted to keep their seats.
No, that's right.
They're both probably losing their jobs.
Yeah, it's Magnussen who's going to Sauber, isn't it? No,
No, Hulkenberg.
Hulk's going to Sauber. Yeah, so who's staying
Exactly.
or not?
Yeah. Probably neither.
Probably neither. Really, it could be neither. Yeah,
Maybe one for 1 year, but Bottas for 1 year, maybe. But
yeah. To get him to, because Sauber's becoming Audi, isn't it?
Audi. And then they're
Yeah.
going to have Science, if all the rumors are true, in 26. And then you've got Antonelli, Behrman, Liam Lawson potentially coming into the sport, which means you're going to lose at least 2, possibly 3.
Yeah,
You could lose Ricardo, Zhou, and Bottas in 1 year.
yeah. It's wild stuff.
Yeah, it is entertaining.
It's really interesting. I think it's the old Brahman's breath, because it's like there was no changes to the driver and team lineups last year. And I think that caused a lot of tension, and now it's just going snap and everything's
Well, I
just
think Lewis
mad
moving at the
scramble.
start of the season set the foundation for an absolute crazy
for a wild, silly season. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question: Lando first cousin to Dan Norris placement prediction. Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
Is your
Lando,
first
yeah,
cousin?
He's my cousin.
How many
Placement
times removed?
Miami. A couple. I'd say fourth for Lando in Miami. What do you
Not
think?
bad. I'd put him on the podium potentially.
He's doing well.
He's doing well, and he did surprisingly well at China. When there's a lot of like low to medium speed corners, the McLarens haven't done well there. A lot of low to medium speed corners in Miami as well, but let's see what happens. They've surprised.
I want Piastri to do well, because I was a little worried last year when everyone was singing his praises for having such a good rookie season, which it was. But you don't get that much leeway in F1. If he gets consistently dominated by his teammate, he'll become the Mark Webber of Aussie F1, or the Ricardo. We don't want that, do we? All right. Brad Grieve, question: what is the best blend for cold brewing? Suggestion: consider using a cold brewed coffee for the East Coast Roast Hiker collab. It's better for drinking cold and heaps easier to make than 5,000 espresso shots. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Easy. Grind beans, steep them in cold water. Done.
Yes. No. Yeah. We can do that. No problem with that.
But
Stephen
no,
Kegel,
you don't get the aroma though. So when you brew with coffee, if you use hot extracted coffee, espresso or something like that, you get wonderful aroma, but the coffee oxidizes and goes bitter very quickly.
Yeah.
Cold steep coffee has wonderful flavor, but not a lot of aroma.
That's what you want, though. You don't want the kind of bitterness, right?
You do, though. Well, Milk and Two Sugars have both.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Okay, that makes sense. But then it costs you $1 million.
It's going to be your money.
No, I'm a tight ass these days. I don't spend any fucking money unless I absolutely have to. Thoughts on Mighty Craft's quarterly update? I feel like we talked about that.
We laughed.
Right.
We laughed. That's what we did.
Well, I tried not to. Tim
We
Howard
laughed a lot.
question: what are some autumn winter seasonal beer you are both looking to indulge in? Oh, Dan, enough talk disguising your red vino beers. That's a fair call. He's got some sort of nitro stout.
Okay, this is actually a really good question, right? We have this really bad habit in Australia where it's like, oh, it's winter, we must be drinking stout. Let's not drink stout. Let's make a summer of stout next summer, 24.
I tried
25.
to do that in 2014, Hendo, and it served us
let's
pretty
do
well.
it again. Do it again.
We launched Black Ops with a stout. Worked well in December.
I think this winter's beer style du jour, de saison, I think would be something like Vienna Lager or Weizenbock. Go and get yourself a fucking bottle of Weihenstephan Vitus.
Weihenstephan are doing something in Australia at the moment.
Yeah, Gabs. Yeah, they're at Gabs.
Oh, is it Gabs?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so if they bring Vitus, good.
Yeah.
Because that beer is amazing. Like it's literally, I've seen it make a man cry, and yeah, it's that good.
Well, it's always fucking cold over there, so they probably know how to make beer for cold.
Exactly.
Temperatures.
So drink a Vienna Lager, drink a Weizenbock, and you're going to be fine.
That's fair. I do have a dark ale here though, but I feel like we're out of time, so probably that's for another time. But
yeah, do you have a fridge in your basement?
I don't have anything down here. I've got what's going to be a toilet. I've got a washing machine that doesn't have a return line, and that's difficult. But I've got a tub for it, and that's it. That's it. Just storage. A little bit of leakage.
Right. Is it damp? Is it damp? Is it
It's
moist? there?
damp. Yeah, it's a little bit damp.
Damp.
That's it. I mean, unless you want to do HR, traditional HR, but
No, we'll do that next week.
yeah, no, I think we're good.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Love your work.
Dude, we did it. We're back.
Yeah, we're back.
It was only 1 week off. It's all
I know.
good.
It's an impromptu week off, but it's good. Catch you next week.
All right, Hendo. See you, mate.